coming. My name is Joey Bratton. I'm Steve Conrad.
John Hendrickson.
And
Dancer.
This weekend dancing. So we again are super excited to have you. I hope you guys are excited to get started with this program. Eating real foods is a basic concept, but there is a lot of planning and preparation that goes into it, so we'll address some of those things as we get into our talk. For all the new people here to Fit Culture Studio who haven't done classes, when you signed up for the program, 12 classes are included, and we want you to feel comfortable with logging on and being able to click on the classes tab, sign up. Has anybody, or let me get a raise of hands for who are the new people who haven't been here before. Awesome. Cool. Have any of you guys gone on and logged in and signed up for classes? Some of you have, some of you haven't. All right. So what I'm going to do is briefly explain it, and then please feel free to come up to myself or John or Steve and ask, and we can show you in front of the computer. We can show you after we get done with the talk tonight. But essentially, how you purchase the program, you had to log in, and that was logging into our software that everyone has a username and password. Once you're logged in, there's some tabs at the top of that screen, and you click on the classes button, and then you'll see our class schedule. And to the left of all the classes, there's a sign up now button. You click onto that sign up now button, and it pulls open a screen saying book a single reservation or make a reoccurring. The best way or easiest way to get started is just hit a single reservation, but you can book out multiple in advance, so you can go back to the classes tab and look at another date and then click on that sign up at that other date. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, but we might have to walk you through it actually in front of the computer. And then the other thing I want to talk about is throughout the program we're going to be sending you guys emails, so just make sure to keep your eyes out, maybe check your inbox, and it might go to your junk, I'm not sure, like your social box if you have Gmail. And we're going to be emailing you resources, videos, just things to keep you motivated as we go through the 21-day program. So I want to start out by asking, and I was asking a few of you while I was doing measurements, why are you doing the program? And you can raise your hand if any of you want to share, what are your goals, so we have a better idea of how to coach you throughout the 21 days. Yeah. Don't know what else to do, okay? Yes. Yes.
I work for a software company, so I sit on my butt a lot. And now that I'm 45, I see the effects of sitting on my butt so much. And I've always been really active and athletic, and I'm like, whoa, things are going places I never expected it to go to. So I want to try to counteract that a little bit.
For sure, yeah. And we sit a lot, and so just moving our bodies is awesome.
It's bad. Sitting's not fun. It's not good.
Steve's going to definitely talk about that. Yes?
Before bedtime, I noticed there was something in here about that.
Generally, we're going to be doing 3 meals and 2 snacks in the program. And when you wake up, some people say, I just can't eat first thing in the morning. And that's fine. You can wait for a while. You don't have to eat right away when you get up. Once you do eat, what you're looking to do is kind of keep your body in balance. You don't want to wait too long in between a meal and a snack to where you feel starving, and then you're kind of, just in a hurry to get to the next next meal. So you want to balance out and maybe shoot for 2.5 hours in between, and then just wherever your last meal falls, doing that is fine. You can't harm yourself by having food too close to bedtime. The only way you would harm yourself is if it's going to disrupt your sleep. But as far as when you put the total amount of food you eat in your body doesn't matter so much. And that being said, we're obviously, the other extreme would be having everything all in one serving. versus having the split up meals. As long as you're splitting up the meals and you're doing it every few hours, you should be fine, even if your last meal falls at 8 o'clock. Yes.
I think I'm doing it because I want to be more prepared with the way that I eat, because I can be really reactive and I eat a lot of so I'm really scared to have this challenge, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, we will for sure address that, and that's one of the big parts about the program. Anybody else have any goals they're looking to achieve out of the program?
They like being back.
Uh-huh.
And also because of having two small children, being able to teach them how to do better and have better options.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So the reason why we came to naming the program 21 Day Real Food Challenge was because eating real foods is an excellent way to provide your body with the nutrients it needs and to just on a real simple level avoid eating things that have been added into the industrial foods that we're surrounded with. And so it's not, real food is, you can eat things that have been processed and they're still real food. So I want to make that clear right off the bat. If I don't personally make my own spaghetti sauce, and there's some other things that I'm certainly going to buy that are processed, but it doesn't mean that those things are necessarily harmful. I'm going to go over in just a minute, the things we want to avoid, but eating real food is going to be a way to provide your body with enough nutrients and also provide you with enough calories to keep you satisfied and keep your hunger lower. And when we eat foods that are processed, the whole game of the food industry is to make us consume more, and it's almost like once we consume it, it leaves us with an empty feeling inside, and those foods, you're going to be going back for more. You're going to overconsume, and you're also going to be left undernourished, and that's a big thing that we're going through right now in any developed country, really, where when you walk into a supermarket, most of the floor space is processed foods that are, really so far away from what they look like when they were grown in just in the real world and eaten, right out of the ground. And the other thing is, we are not shooting to be 100% real food for this program, or whole foods for the program. So a lot of people asking if they should do the program or not would say something like, I'm going to be going away and I don't know if I'm going to be successful. And I just want you to know that not everyone's going to eat 100% real food, and really the only people that do that potentially are already really close. They already have the skills to maybe make that next jump and completely go whole food diet. And if that's the case, then that's great. But if you're currently eating a ton of processed foods and that's what you're used to, just making this jump to completely whole foods is not necessarily sustainable. You may be able to do it for 21 days and it's going to be a stretch. And that is why, a challenge is fun and exciting, but I don't want you to think you're not going to be successful or not learn what you need to know and be successful after the 21 days if you're not 100% real food during the challenge. And so, has everyone had a chance to read the manual? Most people. If you haven't, make sure to do that, and you can even read it twice, because you might, there's a lot of information and you might just read through something and not really pick up on it. The second time you read through it, you might have a better understanding of what we were trying to get across to you. Foods that we want to avoid for the 21 days are staying away from processed foods that have added sugar. So there's a lot of different names for added sugar and things that you might not even have ever heard before or recognize if you start being more conscious and look at labels. And so in the resources that we send you in emails, we will send you some links to where you can look at that stuff. But I don't want you to focus so much time and energy because there's so many different names for sugar, and there's so many different artificial sweeteners and food additives. It's almost like a game in of itself, and you can get so lost and confused with that stuff. So the basic concept again, and why eating real foods is so beneficial, is when you do that, you don't even, all that stuff is irrelevant. You don't have to even ever look at a label when you're eating the majority of your foods are from, just whole food sources. But again, there will be times where you eat some processed foods, and so one of the best ways to avoid eating things that are harmful to your body or all the additives that may not be safe for you is to aim for eating things that have the least amount of ingredients. And if it's less than 5, chances are you will probably recognize most of those ingredients. If it's more, if there's a really long list, there's a very good chance there's going to be a lot in that food that you have no idea what that is. And again, back to the food industry, they spend millions of dollars year after year trying to figure out ways to add fillers to food so they can use less of the real ingredient, so that brings their cost down. And it's just not even, people call processed foods fake food. It's not real, and they do a really good job at adding the flavors to make it taste like a peach, even though there may be very, very little peach, a lot of other stuff, a ton of sugar, and people think, oh, I'm eating peaches, but it's so far from that actually being the truth. Avoiding refined foods, so refined grains, we want to just eat whole grains. There's a lot more nutrients, fiber in whole grains, and in whole grains you're going to get a better balance of protein, fat, and carbohydrate. And so trying to avoid refined grains. Fast food is, most people are aware, fast food restaurants, even things like Starbucks I put on there, those things, we definitely want to avoid because they do add a lot of things into it. But can you drink a cup of coffee with, not add sugar to it? And is that going to be damaging or detrimental to your health? No. I mean, if you're relying on coffee because you're so low on energy and that's just what provides you with energy, then that's not balanced in of itself. But having a cup of coffee every once in a while, even 1 cup daily, is not necessarily the enemy. It's all the extra added stuff that Starbucks and a lot of places add to it. You make a cup of coffee at home, or you can even go out and be successful without running into all the extra stuff. Fried foods, staying away from those. If you're buying it, from a restaurant or at a store, again, it's pretty simple to know what fried foods are, so there's nothing, too shocking there. If you make fried foods at home, again, that's not the end of the world. That's not going to make or break your success. And so when I say avoid these things, I don't mean you never have them. I mean, if it's out of balance and you're not achieving your wellness goals, there's something there that needs to be addressed. And then alcohol, same thing. Alcohol is a big one, and it's, we all have access to all these things. They're, at our fingertips whenever we want them. And it's always, we always add it to the programs, because that too, it's what is the balance there. I don't want you all to, just stop completely drinking. If you enjoy having alcohol every once in a while, that's fine. You just have to realize that it may not be aligning with your wellness goals, and if that's something that's holding you back, you want to look to addressing that. So, foods to eat. In the recipe guide, it goes over that, and I'll go over that a little bit later, but all the fruits and vegetables you want. Meats and fish are great. Whole grains are awesome. Nuts and seeds, legumes, water. So water is the best option for hydrating our bodies. Energy drinks and All the other stuff, there's thousands and thousands of beverages we have. Again, there's just too many options out there, and